On this episode of the John1911 podcast, the How of 1500 delivers, the Iraq veteran 8888 drama, is the NRA closing, and the GRS rifle stock impresses. Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 132 of the John1911 podcast. How was your night, Freeze?
Not too bad. Not too bad at all.
I know you had a rough few days earlier this week. So
yeah, it was a little crazy earlier in the week, but it's slowing down. It's not too bad. Yeah, it goes in spurts. Depends on depends on who's got money and what time of the month it is.
Yeah. Hey, we haven't really done a lot of politics, and I just want to get this one out of the way. So this morning, it looks like the news is reporting that Joe Biden is trying to be cool, but then also is being typical Joe Biden. I guess now he's come up with a new nickname for Trump. I guess is it Clown Show, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
But then also, let's see here. Where is it? Vintage clip resurfaces showing Biden falsely claiming he was the top half of my class in law school. I understand Biden. Look, I've had like people emailing and wanting to talk about like all this politics stuff, and I'm like, we'll just save it. But nobody wants to tell the truth here as far as the real situation. The Democrats are in huge trouble. Just like, the Republicans didn't really have anybody to run against Obama. So they brought out, they dusted off old Mitt Romney and, break glass in the event of a presidential election. And, the Democrats, they are so batshit out of control. They're just like, that's why they're rolling Biden out. I mean, he's just not a good candidate. No. He's so gaffe prone.
Yeah, but he's the best they've got.
Yeah. The thing is, realistically, but for some reason, best in terms of actual donor support, money support, old guard support, and infrastructure and machine support, he is. As opposed to trying to stop Bernie. But their real best candidate is Kamala Harris. I'm not saying Kamala Harris is someone that I would like to see president, but their best candidate on the field right now is Kamala Harris. But for some reason, she's not getting any traction. And they're already trying to slot her into a VP position. And it's just like, he's already like running out there and saying crazy stuff. And, his mouth gets him in so much trouble. He's not like Trump. Trump will tell you what he honestly thinks with the understanding that, he can change his mind. But Biden just says ridiculous shit. Like he's got all these memes and all these like weird ass philosophies that he's never actually floated out in front of anybody until he gets in front of a microphone. Like, just go out and shoot the shotgun up in the air. He just says it's just like you tell he's never actually, he's talked about this kind of stuff at like at a cocktail party in Georgetown, but he's never actually been vetted. He's not Obama. His only air cover is Obama. It's just like, I just don't see putting a mirror up to Joe Biden and everyone seeing like, let's just pretend it. Let's just forget all this with Trump and just go back to the way it was, which is weird, with the economy and everything. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Look, I don't really think Kamala Harris is going to do anything.
I don't think she is either. It's obvious she's not.
I mean, like I said, I think when you get right down to it, I think you're looking at Biden as their best bet, and I don't think Biden could beat Trump.
You know, I know why they want Biden. I really do, because I know the math, and we've talked about it on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, I just here's the problem. It's like this argument that like, well, Biden can get the blue the blue collar UAW worker, basically your father, and it's like, well, but that, you know, because that's who Trump got, and it's like, well, but on some level, that's also who Bernie gets. On some level, and it's, you know, either Biden wins by, let's say Biden gets a nomination, he either barely scrapes by because he pulls Pennsylvania and he pulls, you know, Wisconsin, because the thing is, it's like Nevada's probably gone, Colorado's probably gone. If Trump wins Nevada, it's going to be a blowout. If Trump carries Nevada, it's going to be like Mondale Reagan. It's going to be awful for the Democrats. And, you know, they're assuming that he's going to carry some of these places, you know, but the Democrats are going to carry some of these places. And so the battleground is Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin. And it's just like, I don't know. It's either everybody's lying, like all the numbers and all the math. You know, they're all like, Biden could really win this, or, you know, just like they said Mondale could win, or Hillary could win, or it's going to be a Ronald Reagan blowout.
Yeah, well, you know, look, we still got a long way to go. And the truth is, you can't really trust the polls. You can't. I mean, look, everything with Trump has been just so wrong, you know. Oh yeah, Biden's going to kick Trump's ass. He's going to blow everything away. You know what? Maybe we'll see. I mean, we just have to see. Oh, Trump can't win this state. Well, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he can. We'll have to see. I mean, you know, look at you know, the last election. You know, oh, there's no way. You know, Trump's got to. You know, there's no way. He's got to get this. You know, he's got to get all these different states. And you know what? He did. I mean, you know.
You know what? You make a good point, because Biden has already cracked open the door to his vulnerability. And he said this, I don't know, goddamn, it was Wednesday or something. He's up there in front of a bunch of people at a record on video. And he starts talking about how China's not a threat. Come on. And it's just like, they're not an economic competitor. Come on. And it's like, this is the asshole that's supposed to carry the UAW worker in the Midwest. And then we get into the whole argument of his son, you know, his son's connections with China when he was vice president. And then we get into the whole thing with, like, when did the Obama administration start spying on the Trump campaign, and when did they know it, including Biden? I mean, that's the story. I'm starting to believe that might actually happen. I have no faith that Washington's going to police itself. But when the attorney general sat up there and one of those congressmen, or maybe it was a senator, asked for Bill Barr's, you know, yeah, we have notes of the call with Mueller. And he was like, you took the notes? He's like, no, staff member took the notes. They were like, well, can we have those notes? He goes, no. He goes, why not? He goes, why should you? I mean, it's executive privilege. I mean, it's just, he basically goes, no. And I was like, that was probably the single greatest thing I've seen in congressional testimony in a decade.
Well,
you know, so, I mean, you know, if Bill Barr is the real deal, I don't think Barr is a Trump. William Barr, whatever his name is. I don't think he's a Trump supporter. I think he's an old guard Republican. You know, it was horrified when Donald Trump won, but he's a lifetime bureaucrat. And I just can't help but wonder if he's on his last gig. He's in his 60s. This is his last job in Washington. And he's just like, fuck you bitches. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing more powerful and more infuriating than a bureaucrat that doesn't give a fuck about you. And I just going to be really interesting to see if that happens, because they're always on the Democrat side. You never see it as a conservative.
Yeah, that is true.
You never see a bureaucrat in positions of power in Washington that actually believes in like how you and I view America should work, equality under the law and justice and due process. It's always, wink, wink, nod, nod, bullshit power, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think the Barr guy is really interesting. I wasn't thrilled when they picked him. I'm like, oh no, what the fuck? But he's interesting. He's interesting so far. My curiosity is piqued.
Yep. Well, these are strange times in politics, I mean, a lot, and we've talked about, all this shit before on other podcasts, but I mean, when Obama was president, it kind of imploded the Republican Party. And I'll tell you what, now that Trump's president, it's kind of imploding the Democrat Party. I mean, really, these are very interesting times in politics. I mean, who knows how it's going to shake out? I mean, who's going to win? True capitalism or true socialism?
Maduro's fucking all that up.
Oh man.
Oh God. Took all. Did you MSNBC? Did you hear what they said? Did you hear about
about the guns? Yeah. And it's like, after they said it, they're like, oh, really? We had to go there.
So some low-level reporter, because they're like, we're like, well, the streets are revolting and everybody's whatever. And there's rumors that there's a plane on the jetway and, Maduro's agreed to fly to Cuba and, and it's just the Russians holding them there. And there's been certain members of the military that are quietly agreeing to defect and, change sides and work with a coalition government. Why can't they take their country back? Because what's his name? What was the guy?
Was it Chavez?
No. Was it?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
Chavez.
It was
Chavez.
Yeah, Chavez took all their guns away in like 2012 or some shit. And or 2000 and it's just like they used to have gun rights and then make it worse, not only did they take all the guns away, law-abiding gun owners, there's all these like gangs and special interest groups kind of like Antifa but on steroids running around Venezuela. They're on the side of the government and their government gives them guns. And it's just like and the MSNBC is like, oh fuck, did he just say that? Because the civilians don't have any guns, dude.
It's true.
Yeah, it's just like, oh man.
You know that everyone from the top on down in MSNBC just like their asshole puckered and they all just kind of had a shiver, like, oh. On the other hand, they can be thankful that they only have 4 viewers.
There was some weird statistic I heard. I don't remember if it was CNN or MSNBC, but somebody had higher ratings than their had more viewers than they did, and it was something shocking. Maybe it was CNN. It was like the argument was, why is CNN still on the airports? Still on airports with their ratings so low?
Yeah.
It was it was an interesting story. Hey, the listener, I want to tell everybody, Freeze is doing really well right now because he's, trying to talk politics. He's trying to, stay on topic and kind of listen to me ramble about the shit I want to talk about. When the truth is, all he wants to talk about is his Howa 1500 308 headshot at 300 yards.
Actually,
that's all he wants to talk about.
Actually, I do want to talk about that, but I also want to talk about an interesting letter I got in the mail from the NRA yesterday.
I went to the NRA show. Yeah, you know what? I'd like to hear this.
Okay, you know how in part of the controversy that's going on with the NRA, and I'm not going to get into details because all the NRA members that are listening probably know all this. Part of the controversy is the company they contracted with to send out all the begging notices and shit like that. begging for money.
I think they might also run NRA TV.
Yeah, they might. So I get this notice from my buddy and yours, Wayne.
Your friend and mine.
Yes. National Rifle Association notice of shutdown, dated April 29th, 2019. So what they're basically saying is that if I don't send them an urgent member donation of $27.52, $100, $250, $500, or other, that the NRA just may have to shut their doors. They just may have to shut down. Tell me that's not a pathetic scare tactic. And it's really kind of beneath them, but it's kind of disappointing.
All right, let's have the conversation because I'm going to go there. I don't know all the particulars of what's wrong in the NRA. Like I know that Oliver North supposedly was trying to force Wayne LaPierre out. And, then like Wayne they're all saying like, there's some, this group that runs NRA TV and runs a lot of their stuff. It's like a lobbying, whatever group, law firm, whatever it is. It's not Perkins Coie. That's the other one. That's the one I think that Perkins Coie is the one that Holder works for now. But it's one of these types of groups. And I mean, in another life, I've actually hired one of these groups. So, I mean, I understand it. And, what's happened is the NRA has successfully convinced, I don't know, probably half their members that, that this group is fucking the NRA over and the NRA's fighting back and somehow Oliver North's involved. And the real issue here is, because I was at the NRA show. I spoke to a former member of the actually a former employee of the NRA we have good relationship with. And the real issue is that Wayne LaPierre has been in control of the NRA for 30 years. And it's a membership-driven organization with an elected board. And over time, it's human nature that if one person with access to a lot of money and a fair amount of success stays too long, all power tends to corrupt absolutely, or absolute power tends to corrupt absolutely. And you cannot tell me on its face that Wayne LaPierre has all kinds of problems here. He's too fat. He's too soft. All they do is they bullshit red flag laws when we really should have mental adjudication. We used to just put people on community control, which we used to call the loony bin, community control, bump stock bullshit bans. We don't have national CCW reciprocity. NRA's not interested in overturning the 86 Hughes machine gun amendment. They supported it. NRA's not interested in revisiting the importation limitations from the 80 or the 68 Gun Control Act. They're not interested in overturning the 89 import bans. They're not interested in overturning importing guns from China. They're not interested in fixing 922R. They're not interested in even allowing us to get barrels into the country.
Yeah. And
it's just like, I'm whatever patron level is above life, that's what I am. When I went to the NRA show, they were like, oh, here's a handshake, here's a ribbon and the thing, and you're special. And I gave them there was a raffle and I gave them like $20 and didn't even stay for the raffle. Because I was like, I'm at the show, I should give them a little bit of money. But I've given the NRA a lot of goddamn money. And I'm not going to give up my NRA membership, and I'm not going to be all the sky is falling. But if you're sitting around and you think that if the way things are going with the NRA, that in 30 or 40 years, your grandchildren aren't going to end up owning guns the same way people in the UK owning guns because the NRA is slowly letting the shit slide, you're delusional.
Yeah.
I mean, the NRA is right now a shit show.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
Because I love, everybody's lying about the NRA. The left lies about the NRA and the right lies about it. I mean, the NRA lies about the NRA and the left lies about the NRA. And here's why. The left they'll get on, they'll be like, goddamn Wayne and goddamn NRA and, you know, giving all this blood money to politicians and all this and all that. The NRA doesn't have that much money to give people. The NRA doesn't hardly give shit to election campaigns. The only thing the NRA does is really give ratings to its members. You know, to like this politician gets an A+ or this politician gets an F-, and then they do all that. It's an endorsement thing. There's no reason John1911 Political Action Committee couldn't do the same thing in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, you know, Wayne LaPierre gets $200,000 a year in clothing allowance. Look, I get it. Wayne dresses sharp, and I know those suits are $2,000 or $3,000 a pop. Hell, a $2,000 suit was back in the '90s. Now they're probably $4,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, then now it came out, there's this, you know, $200,000 travel allowance. And it's like, well, okay, you know, he's a political, you know, he's got to go around, do whatever. Trips to Ireland, trips to Italy, trips to, I don't know, other places. And it's just like, and look, I get it, okay? If you own a business, and this, you know, people don't want to hear this, but it's true. Donald Trump owns businesses that make money. And the Trump family gets compensated through their businesses and they run as much through their business as they can. That's how it works.
Yeah.
The problem is the NRA is not a private fucking business. And Wayne LaPierre is slowly turning the NRA into his private business. And it'd be one thing if he was winning.
But he's not winning.
Yeah, the red flag law is crazy.
Yeah, look, I agree with what you said. I mean, I'm not going to give up my NRA membership either. But man, I am sorely disappointed with the, you know, I figured by this time we'd at least have national reciprocity. I mean, you know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what was it? Trump showed up at the NRA convention. You know, like I even saw Trump Jr. like when he was surreptitiously walking around. I mean, I can pick up a Secret Service detail pretty easily. And I was like, oh, look, there's security. Oh, there's another one. Oh, there's their guy. It's Junior.
Yeah.
And he wasn't dressed to be noticed, and which is fine. And it's great that he showed up and did all this stuff. And it's great that Trump daddy shows up at the NRA convention and gives a speech, you know, because presidents haven't done that in a long time. But, you know, he showed up and he pulls out a pen and a piece of paper and says that, you know, I'm going to not approve this proposed regulation from the UN on new ITAR, basically an ITAR plus is the way I would describe it, new arms regulations as far as how they classify stuff that wasn't going to really affect us in the U.S. at all. But I'm going to go ahead and sign this and say, no, we're not doing it, when it's like, that wasn't going to fucking happen anyway. Why don't you get up there and say, I, in 2019, promise that we are going to make it a priority of my administration. We're going to fight for national reciprocity. Yes. And we can do it through highway funds, or we can do it through this or do it through that. Don't give me this bullshit about, well, we don't have the House anymore, you know, or don't give me this bullshit about, well, we have to get through the 2020 election. Because here's what happens. It never stops with these fucking people in Washington. Now, I'm not kicking Trump. I'm kicking the system. Yeah. Somebody gets elected. Oh, this is going to be it. We're going to get what we wanted. Well, you know, we got to get through the midterms. Yeah. Then we get through the midterms. Well, we got to get through re-election, you know. Then we got to get through more midterms. And then it's always a lame duck. He doesn't have any power. Yeah. And it never stops.
Yeah, it's the same thing, you know, over and over. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not pissed at Trump about this. Trump is a New York businessman. He's not a gun guy. Surprise. Everyone, you know, the man walks around in like freaking Italian loafers and drives, you know, Ferraris and has supermodel wives. You know, that's fine. But I'm pissed at the NRA they get his attention once in a while. They get to meet with the guy, and they don't bring up 86. They don't bring up the barrel import issues. They don't bring up national CCW. Obviously, they're not.
No,
and it's like, why the fuck is Wayne LaPierre getting $200,000 a year for bullshit suits and trips to frickin' Ireland when we're not even getting a hearing in the fucking Oval?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a member of the NRA. I support the NRA, and I'm not going to give up my membership of the NRA. But if Wayne LaPierre were in the Armory today, he would be really fucking unhappy the way I talk to him.
Yeah.
Fuck the NRA.
No, I mean,
this is
it is bullshit. It's total bullshit.
And now it's coming out. Like, I guess now that they're incorporated in New York, and I guess one of the vectors of attack that's going to happen. The NRA runs like. They got the NRA credit card. They run some NRA gun insurance. They might even, I don't even know what other types of insurance program. The NRA always has all these things to run things. And insurance is real creepy because you got to be careful in the insurance industry because a lot of states, a lot of places, it's regulated state to state to state to state. And the fact that I'm like even finding out that they're incorporated in New York State in 2019.
Yeah, that's kind of like, really?
That's insane. It's like, because everyone's like, because I was surprised. I was like, why aren't they in Virginia? That's where the headquarters is at. Nah, they're in New York State. And it's just like, well, that's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's like, like Beretta, Colt, all these companies are, Remington are all moving out of those areas. But the NRA is too busy, buying suits and flying to Ireland to get their shit together and get the fuck out of New York.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so dumb.
Yeah. Yes. I know, it's crazy.
I mean,
it's absolutely. I mean, it's insane to think that they're incorporated in New York. I mean, of all states. I mean, I guess it could be worse. They could be in California, but I mean,
well, California used to be I think even today, California used to be a Republican state. And here's the thing. You know what? This is going to be a lesson. You and I know this. We know this, but the kids today don't. If you're under 30, you have no idea what I'm about to say. There was a time in this country, not that long ago, that if you were in the gun industry, if you were a gun writer, if you were an instructor, if you owned a gun magazine, if you ran a gun magazine, you were in California. California was the land of milk and honey, and that was where all the gun guys were.
Yeah, well, things change.
Things change, and it's just like, if you don't act smart and get ahead of this, things are going to start changing again.
Well, I'll tell you, California's so crazy. Obviously, all the actors are out in California, Hollywood, and all that. Atlanta, Georgia is becoming the new Hollywood. There's so many movie studios opening up in Atlanta because California is just so fucking crazy. Everyone's moving to Georgia, and that's where all
there is the guy who really drove that. I can't believe it's coming up on the podcast, but I really respect the dude. His name is Tyler Perry. Do you know who he is? He does all kinds.
I've never seen any of his stuff. I know who he is, though.
He's got he's got religious movies. He's got like comedy movies like Medea, where he dresses up as like somebody's grandma. But here's the thing. He's got a studio in Atlanta. I think it's like 110 acres. And it's a real deal. He went to Atlanta. Basically, I remember him talking about this years ago. He's like, yeah, I went to Hollywood and I talked to all of them and I'd had some success and, try to, have some meetings to do some things. But he basically was like, this isn't going to work for me. They don't have my best interests in heart. I might as well stay in Atlanta and make this my home base and build what I want to do.
Yeah.
And he's done it. And now, Atlanta's become, with his success, and we've actually had some contact with some video guys that are in Atlanta, and they do there's a lot of, if you want to be in the hip hop game, I have to speak generically, the black music game, you know, like the most popular black music, you can go to Hollywood. But the two places to be, if you want to be in the music game, if you're a black pop, black rap, black, whatever you want to say, artist, R&B artist, is Atlanta and New York City. And Atlanta's getting more and more and more of them every day. And so you got Tyler Perry down there. You got all the aspiring musicians down there and the rappers, and you have the videographers and the choreographers and all this, and it becomes this critical mass. You were 100% correct. Atlanta's turning into the new Hollywood. There's no doubt. And that Atlanta is the capital of, I would say Atlanta is the capital of America's wealthy black people. And that's a good thing.
I guess. I mean, I'll take your word for that. But more importantly, the only reason Atlanta is even worth mentioning is because that's the headquarters for Coca-Cola. My soda pop of choice.
I so don't give a fuck about Coca-Cola. So, for those of you, let's get back on the how, then we'll get off of it because I want to ask you about something else. So, I was making a video and I had forgotten this happened. You're shooting and we're trying to get the gun figured out, and I forgot that the scope, and I forgot that it was a hunting scope and not a dialable scope. Like you can adjust it, but it's not a referenceable zero stop scope. Yes. And you hit a piece of target, you're like, oh, I canoed him. I was like, oh, fuck. Look at you, fucking badass, fucking Carlos Hancock. I canoed him. I was like, okay. that was my favorite part of the video. I was like, what?
Well, that was
you get a rig and some steel. Suddenly, you're like freaking like shit talking.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, that's the difference between canoeing them and totally missing them was a fraction of an inch, realistically.
Yeah, but actually, yeah.
So, no, it was a good day at the range, though. The Howa performed exceptionally well. I'm very pleased with it. That Radway,
especially in spite of this,
that Radway ammo sucked.
Yeah, once we switched it over to PPU.
Yeah, yeah.
And I knew.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew the PPU would perform, but it's like give it a shot. The Radway sucked pretty bad. The PPU performed really well, and the gun really came into focus when when we were shooting the PPU. We got it dialed in pretty decent. I'm pretty damn happy with it.
Have you decided what kind of zero you want to put on that gun? Do you want to just have 100-yard zero and do holdovers, or do you want to do like a maximum point blank, like set like say a 300-yard dead on zero, and then like you can do 100 dead on and be high. I think maybe it's high.
Well,
typically off the top of my head is a 300 dead on 308 might be high, like 4 inches or something at 200, which seems odd to me, but I can't remember.
I was honestly for now, because with that scope, with the way the range is set up today, right now, I won't be shooting 500 yards with that scope. Just I don't feel comfortable keeping it in the berm. Not that I think it'd be crazy.
And that's why we designed it that way, because we have a 450 that's an entire
exactly. So what I was thinking is maybe doing a like a 200-yard zero, something along those lines.
Okay.
And
that would be
no. I mean, I figure a 200-yard zero. That should. I have to play holdovers, but at the 450 target, I mean, I should be able to bang the steel at 450 all day long without any issues. But if there is an issue, I feel real comfortable at the 450 target with that, keeping it in the range, on the range. And I just don't, at 500 yards, the way the back berm at 500 yards is set up, I would not want to shoot that gun with that particular scope. But I'd feel comfortable.
No, you can't shoot at the 500.
No.
Yeah. So I mean, the 450 set up for iron-sighted sharps rifles, where the 500 you can't, because if you can go over it. Well, you know what we're going to have to do if you want to do 200-yard zero. I'm going to have to throw up some short-range steel, because the truth is, you're going to probably use that gun to hunt, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And unless you set up on the rifle range, you could take a shot at 50 yards.
Yeah.
So we got to get used to what, if you're going to do 200-yard zero, we got to figure out what your hunting.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and that's just a matter of knowing your holdovers and knowing your gun. A 200-yard zero, I think about that, that's interesting. I think there's real possibilities.
Yeah. And look, here's the thing, I mean, we try it out. We, we play with it. And if it doesn't work, then we reevaluate it. But I kind of like the idea of a 200-yard zero.
Okay. Yeah, we had somebody ask on Facebook. They were like, "What's a good?" It says, "I have an AR-10. What's a good, like plinking ammo?" Or he didn't say plinking, I think, but basically he's like, "What's a good, decent practice ammo that isn't like total garbage?"
Man, I'd just go with the PP.
And assume that's what I told him. I said PPU ball ammo is pretty decent. We've had good luck with PPU ammo. It's going to be a lightweight ammo. I don't think PPU makes a like 168 grain, 175 grain ball load. They probably 147, 150.
Look,
which is fine.
The nice thing about PPU ammo is it's the closest thing you're going to get to match ammo without being match ammo.
I would not make that statement publicly because there's so much ammo out there that I don't know about. I'm not going to go that far. It's good for us so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, for not being match ammo, it's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. It's pretty damn good ammo.
We do have some. I'm actually looking at it. We have PPU match ammo.
I know.
It's 168.
I've got a couple boxes of 7.5 Swiss PPU match ammo sitting here, which is kind of amazing because GP11's pretty much match ammo anyway, and this is supposed to be even better, But but I mean, but for the 308 PPU bulk ammo, and I'm not talking about their match ammo, I'm talking about their bulk ammo. The Privy Partisan, it's damn good ammo. I mean, it's hard to go wrong, and it's really not expensive.
No, it's not. It's not bad because they sell so much of it. Look, we have no relationship with PPU. They don't know us from freaking the horse that won the Derby.
They don't know us is looking at our credit card information when we order ammo. I mean, seriously. I mean, they don't know us from Adam. I mean, we have no relationship with them. But you know what? I tell you, I like PPU for two reasons. The first reason is it's obviously very good ammo. It's good quality ammo. Is it the best? No, of course not. But, for an affordable range ammo, it's damn good ammo. But here's the second reason I like PPU. It don't matter what gun you have and what caliber. It can be some crazy, outdated, obsolete, wonky caliber. You can almost guarantee PPU makes ammo for it.
If it was a military caliber in Europe or if it was a military caliber, in the 20th century, a true military caliber, not like some like 35, like some of those black powder things, they probably do make it, even if they only make it in certain rounds. What I like about it is it's can be good priced. You can't overpay just like or anything, but it's consistent. Even if it's underpowered, and now I'm not saying that any of it is underpowered, but when you get a box of it, it's not like you get a lot of boom, boom, bang, boom, boom, bang, bing, boom. It's not. You can just even tell when you're shooting it. At least it's consistent, and that's important. Like we had on video, we had Officer Mike. He was shooting some 22 subsonic ammo, and 22 is notoriously not have high quality unless you buy like Ely or the real fancy shit. And on video, it was like subsonic, crack. And it was like, ooh, that was a hot one. And it was subsonic ammo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
And there's other makers out there I've seen, like American Eagle is terrible.
Well, I'll tell you what, we had when we were shooting that Redway, there was one round in there that was like, woo, that's a little smoky. You know.
Yeah, well, that's British ammo. And I'm not trying to shit on the British.
It's British military surplus, you know.
And the British make ammo the same way they make cars. And it can be a shit show. British guns and British ammo. Sorry, I know Accuracy International, but you know what? That was a dude in his garage that came up with that shit. It wasn't the British fucking government that came up with AI. And their stuff is they're not good gun people, and their ammo's not good, and their guns generally aren't good.
Yeah. And
now that they don't have a established base of gun users, the shit gets even worse. So
yeah.
Hey, since we talk, I don't want to go too far off of this, but at the NRA show, you know me, I had to stop at the Blaser booth, and I stopped at Euro Optic. Well, I stopped at Blaser, and I was talking to him. This girl, I'd never seen her before. The one guy wasn't there that you and I had met. Kevin Wisner, he was not there.
Yeah,
he still works for Blaser. But anyway, I was asking him about because there's a 22 long rifle kit coming out for the R8.
Yeah.
And she told me that it will be in the U.S. in July. And I know, like, for the 8 people that have Blaser R8s that listen to this podcast because they follow us because I'm a Blaser guy, there's your answer on you'll see the 22 kits in July in the U.S.
Okay.
And you can probably get one either from Euro Optic or get one from Blaser directly. And the kit will be a barrel, a special bolt head, a magazine insert. So you don't need a special magazine, just like a regular. It's an insert, just like the regular R8 calibers, and it's not a single shot. My understanding is it'll hold maybe 6 rounds or something. So
actually, that's kind of that's actually kind of exciting news.
And if they'll make one threaded. And we're looking at doing some light. You know what? I screwed up on video. I said it wrong, and I was too lazy to change it. Animal depredation.
Yeah.
And I was saying deprivation. I was like, I was like, whatever. You know what? It's a dirty ass coyote is a dirty ass coyote. Doesn't even deserve the right word.
Yeah, it's like, I noticed that, and it's like, whatever. I just,
I can't. Everybody gets a turn, and I got a turn on that one, so I used the wrong word. So, but
look, the truth is, everyone knew what you were referring to.
You know what I'm trying to say. And don't befriend me. Step off. So anyway, I had there's the tactical 2 military law enforcement sniper rifles, and then there's the R8 hunting rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And the R8 rifles, Blaser's kind of moving on. They're doing they're all in on the R8, and there's like 30 some calibers and barrels, and like Blaser even has a barrel. And again, this goes to the freaking NRA. Blaser has a barrel now that they make in 308, 8mm Mauser, and then 1 or 2 other calibers that are interesting calibers. It's a barrel with an integrally suppressed barrel, and you bolt it onto your gun, and literally it's kind of like some of the stuff that we have on order. It's no longer and no heavier than a normal barrel, and it's real balanced because you don't have a big suppressor threaded on the end of your gun. It's got like a 16-inch barrel underneath it, and the rest of the bull barrel is expansion chamber and baffles. And it's super cool, but you can't get it in the U.S. because you can't import suppressors. So I'll never get that until they change the import laws. Yeah. But there's all these. But anyway, back to the R8. There's all these different options with the R8. Well, there's a company in Norway. Is it Norway? Norway, called GRS. And if you're in the precision rifle game, you might be familiar with GRS. They're huge in Europe, and they started off as a woodworking or as a furniture company. So they're used to working in wood and making furniture. And I guess, business wasn't that good so many years ago. And one of the sons or the boys was a precision rifle guy in maybe the Norwegian military. And if it's Norway, I could be wrong. But basically, he's like, I want to start making stocks for guns. And they have the routers and the equipment.
Yeah.
And so he started making stocks, and then they started laminating the stocks and impregnating the laminate and started selling them, and people started buying them, and they're a huge company in the stock business. And they've now finally moved into synthetic stocks, and they've now also come out with a metal chassis stock system for the Blaser R8. And it's got an M-block on it. It's got a folding stock. So you could take an R8, dump your barrels, your mag, all your parts, and do all these caliber conversions. But you can, right off the bat, you can hang, bipods on it. You can hang night vision on it. You can hang, SIMRADs on it. You can do all kinds of crap with this thing. And it's $1,400 for the chassis. And I stopped by the Euro Optics booth, and I saw it, and I was like, holy shit. And looking at it and talking to a guy, and turns out the guy was not a Euro Optic employee. He was an employee of GRS.
Oh, okay.
And we kind of hit it off. And he said, kind of like revealed who we were, and, showed him kind of what's going on. And, I don't want to get too far out in front of it, but they seemed interested in getting one of those stocks one of those chassis in our hands, hopefully.
Well, that would be nice, because actually, everyone knows that listens to us that I'm not the biggest fan of Blaser, but that actually is Blaser news that's actually interesting to me. It really is.
It is. And, I probably shouldn't say it on the podcast. But the truth is, why am I saying on the podcast? Because, this is not the kick GRS or Euro-Optic or anybody. This is just speaking from experience. We went to the NRA. I met this dude with this cool product, and we had really interesting conversations. And right now, it's on topic. 6 months from now, when nothing happens and we never get one of these chassis systems because we're not Iraq veteran 8888.
Wow.
And,
wow.
Nobody's going to give a shit because the truth is I was going to buy the motherfucker anyway because I'm actually interested in the product. I'm not a gear reviewer, and that's fine. So
yeah,
have you looked? What the hell is going on with Iraq veteran 8888? Have you looked into this?
Look, I read the release from whatever the company.
It's a T-shirt company or something.
Well, they're like they're more than a T-shirt company. They're more of a they set up like web hosting. They make their product line for them. They're I can't think of the term for what they are.
Like a fulfillment company?
They're kind of like a fulfillment company.
E-commerce?
Similar. And, man, I tell you what, like I said, I only saw
well, give the listener an overview of what you saw, because I'm not sure I even know exactly what the deal is. What's from 30,000 feet? What's the issue?
Well, they cut a deal.
Who's they?
This like fulfillment company or whatever the company's called.
Okay.
And with the Iraq vet 8888. What I don't remember his name, his real name. But anyway, they cut a deal with him on a handshake. They were going to, you know, they were talking about how they were losing money on shirts and, you know, and bleeding money and not, you know, and all this stuff. So they're like, they cut a deal saying, look, we'll produce your product. We'll get the costs down. We'll distribute it. We'll do like, you know, like web hosting and all this stuff. And apparently they screwed him over and locked him.
Iraq veteran 88 screwed over these people?
And locked them out of their own, you know, locked them out of the website. And I mean, just basically hosed them over. And now they're, I don't remember the numbers, but I think it was like Iraq Vet 8888 owed them like, I don't know, $70,000 or $80,000 or some shit like that. And
it's $70,000
like that, yeah. And they settled for something ridiculously low. But they said in the release that they weren't going to go public, you know. But of course, immediately the attorneys for Iraq Vet 8888 want them to sign an NDA, you know, a non-disclosure form, but which they refused to do. And then they.
Well, wait a minute. That's retarded because you negotiate NDAs when you negotiate your settlement, not after.
Yeah, well, maybe it was they tried to do that before and they refused to do a non-disclosure. They refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement, but they also said, like, you know, we won't, you know, we'll just keep it quiet. We'll just settle this and go on our own way, and it'll be what it is. And, but then apparently one of the partners' wives, and I could be totally wrong on this, you know, I read through it one time, started trashing the other company on all their different social medias. So they're like, no.
Partner, one of Iraq veteran wives?
I think it wasn't, I don't think it was the Iraq veteran's wife, but it was his partner's wife. But anyway, they started trashing this company through all their different social media outlets, you know, like Instagram, Twitter, you know, and all that crap. And after they, you know, started trashing the company, you know, or shit talking them, they're like, nope, you know what? We're just going to come out and lay all the cards on the table and tell everyone how these people are pieces of shit. So it's
$70,000 for what? For an e-commerce site, or was this like?
I think it was. I think it was like for product, e-commerce. I think it was just like a lump total of everything.
That's a lot of money.
Is. But I don't know how long.
You and I, look, we've made e-commerce sites and we've made shirts.
Yeah.
That seems high to me.
Well, you know, again, this was just the release I heard, so I don't know all the details of it. It could include a lot more than that.
It would have been nice if we could have charged somebody $70,000 to put up an e-commerce store and make their shirts. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
That's something I don't understand the number. So I obviously haven't read it. So I know what got my attention was, I guess there was a lot of drama, and I don't know these Iraq veteran people. I know them just like anybody listening to this podcast. I've seen them on the YouTube, and they seem like perfectly nice guys. They seem like they have a great channel. They also they have fun, but apparently they get paid to do reviews, which makes sense because I just saw this like yesterday. So, like, for example, Henry Lever Guns, they've come out with a new gun where it has a King's Gate on it. You can, instead of tube load it, you can thumb it into the gate on the side. And Henry's never offered that before. But I guess it came out at NRA. And just as it came out at NRA, Iraq Veteran 8888 had a video already shot, produced, edited, and credentialed, ready to roll out. Hey, everybody, you're not going to believe this. So they had to have been involved with the product release, which is a level of sophistication that belies their reputation, as opposed to me showing up at the Euro Optic booth going, oh my God, I love you guys. Will you please, can I buy one of these, please? I mean, obviously, Iraq Veteran 8888 is getting paid some smack to, run videos for all this shit.
Okay, here I looked up some information. Okay, the company is called ForgedFromFreedom.com.
Okay. Is that the same Forged company with the Navy SEAL thing, or is that someone else? Okay.
Okay. It says entered a business arrangement. It says we spent in excess of 5 months working to build a new Iraq Veteran 8888.com website, negotiated with suppliers to get new products from overseas for a fraction of the cost they previously paid. The end result of our efforts was a brand new functional e-commerce website, a massive reduction in overhead, and countless fresh new IV8888 branded items on the Forged from Freedom site using financial estimates provided to us by whoever verbally. The business went from turning over as little as $25K a month to turning over $84K a month with a 64% profit margin, up from a 40% profit margin, which actually is pretty impressive.
That's very impressive.
So it says, our estimate time was $73,374.99 over a 5+ months of work. At the end.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to stop you. Our estimate. So, okay. Yeah. So what they've done, are they saying that what they did is they went back and they figured out their man hours and calculated $1 per man hour amount. So now they're in a pissing war and they've come up with this $75,000 number, which as well as I do, that's where you start when the lawyers are talking. You ain't coming in anywhere near that, because your name isn't Bill Gates, and I'm not paying you prevailing wage.
Yeah, well,
that's a bullshit number.
Yeah, well, what the number they came in at was $12,280.
There you go. Uh-huh.
So
I'm sure $12,280 is not great for people, and but there's Scott. I don't know what the situation.
I'm sure that was low, but you take what you can get.
What was interesting to me was, and I think what it's been interesting to a lot of people, because I finally even noticed it on the internet, because I'm not a big YouTube, I don't know what goes on in YouTube channels. I guess the numbers being thrown around, people were like, wait a minute, you mean Iraq veteran Heil Hitler is actually doing this for money? This is a big ass business?
Yeah. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, 8888. I'm surprised that's never been. I've never been comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I've never been comfortable with that IV 8888.
I don't know where he came up with the 8888.
I think that's an example of you do something when you're young, like a tattoo or something stupid, and you don't think about the future because you didn't know what your life was going to be like in 10 or 15 years. And now you got to change it. Like that video of you, some girls doing a line of coke, doing lines of coke like a freaking freight train, at some party, and now she's a motivational life coach. 15 years later, that video is haunting her.
Kind of like a young, teenage college, kid trying to get into college and tries to jazz up their resume by saying that, they're a minority with American, Native American kind of thing.
IV8888 is literally the YouTube's version of Pocahontas in some weird way.
Yeah. I mean,
that, yeah.
I don't know. Have you ever heard an explanation on the 8888?
No, because I'm not that interested in it. But for those of you who don't know, like if you're out in, like when I used to be out working, and you run across, like I run across dopers and gangbangers and bikers and clan and all this, you know. But I mean, I'm talking like I'm not. But hold on, I'm talking. I'm not shitting on, because I have to do this, because if I don't, people get all fucking ass hurt. They think like I'm just shitting on like one group of people, and there's all kinds of groups out there that if you work the streets, you got to know the slang and the lingo and who's beefing with who and who's getting on with who and who's turf and how people make money and what's their business and how it all works. And in certain circles, 88 is the 8th letter of the alphabet is H, and 88, 2 H's is Heil Hitler. Also, the Nazis were known for having a caliber of their tanks and their anti-aircraft guns as 88 millimeter, right? Is it 88 millimeter? So 88. So you see 88, like you'll see guys with 88 tattoos, and it's a white supremacist thing. It's a Nazi thing.
Yeah, I mean, skinheads, neo-Nazis, white supremacists, they.
Yeah, it's more Nazi than.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say white supremacist. White supremacists.
You see a lot of skinheads with the 88 tattoo on them.
Well, a lot of skinheads are basically Nazis now.
Yeah.
With the red fucking laces and all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to, like, you don't see a lot of Ku Klux Klan members with 88 fucking tattoos.
No, but a lot of your KKK members are, if you take off the robes, they just look like normal members of society. I mean, like skinheads are like the radical militant version.
Yeah, that's the point I'm making. Like 88 is not. It's a very it's a single lane in a kaleidoscope of assholes. It's just one thing, and it was just. And I'll be honest with you, the whole 88 shit has gone. And it was such a small group of jerks anyway. This predates like all this made up Nazi shit now. But that was so rare even seeing it that, I remember when I first saw the 8888 and I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck's still using that bullshit? And I was like, this, and this kid on the internet. I'm like, all right, I guess. That could have been a randomly generated. I mean, IV, was that IV randomly generated? Iraq veteran?
I don't know. I'm assuming he was an Iraqi vet. I mean, I would hope.
But I guess, to go back to the whole thing is like, I don't know how many, like I went and looked at because I saw like the Henry Kingsgate loading thing, and it was like, I was like, man, they get shit. They're coordinating product releases, all these companies. They've got all these different revenue streams for making money. This is obviously a big operation. And I think a lot of people are just surprised they're like, like, oh my God, you mean you're not just a guy who just shoots guns in Georgia and, for fun. And, how, he showed, I mean, every time he makes a video, he's probably got $2,000 worth of new guns. Where's that shit coming from? We buy all of our shit because we have an armory for a reference collection for different reasons.
Yeah.
But it begs the question. If there's $25,000 to $80,000 or $50,000 a month in revenue, gross revenue, what the hell is Hickok making? What the hell is Nothing Fancy making?
Well, I'll tell you what. And I don't know, and I'm not even going to try to guess, but I'll tell you something, because I follow Nothing Fancy. I like the guy. And I've been following him for years. I mean, I remember when he had one freaking gun. It was a crappy ass Mossberg 500, and he was just doing all kinds of, shooting goofy shit out of it, shooting it underwater, trying to blow the damn gun up.
No, that's not nothing fancy. That's,
I'm sorry.
you're
That's
confused.
Demolition Ranch. My bad. Nothing fancy's totally different. But anyway.
Well, you know what? I'm glad you brought up Demolition Ranch. Hold on, listen. No, listen. There was a post on Instagram yesterday of Matt from Demolition Ranch flying to Rock Island Auctions.
Yeah.
On a private plane.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, when he started out, I mean, you know, like I said, he had one shotgun. I think he was still in college at the time, making YouTube videos. Now he's got sport utility vehicles. He's got all these fancy guns. I mean, he's making money somewhere. Now, granted, the guy is a vet. When I say vet, I mean veterinarian. He's an animal doctor. So, I mean, you know, he does actually have a livelihood and an income. And I imagine being a veterinarian, he's got a fairly nice income as well. But you know, I mean, if you go back and find his videos from when he first started, and then watch his videos now, just look at the progression of the gear he has. You know, I mean, it's pretty impressive. And honestly, I like his older videos better than his newer videos. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I noticed this kind of ties into the news this week. You know, Facebook, I guess. Facebook shut down Laura Loomer's Facebook page, Alec Jones' pages. I assume he's probably got multiple pages. And they also shut down Louis Farrakhan off of Instagram and Facebook. So I guess all these Instagram and Facebook are the same company. And it was interesting because they all, you know, the media reported that right-wing extremist Republicans, Laura Loomer, Alex Jones, and Louis Farrakhan have been banned off of, who's the flamboyant gay guy
Milo.
He's been banned too. Milo, he's been banned too, and they're all, you know, right-wing extremists like Louis Farrakhan. But I'm saying that to say this. You know, nothing fancy. Because I remember looking, like, you know, when like a lot of the demonetization happened, a lot of, you know, like they went after guns, they went after all this on YouTube. And if you go to Nothing Fancy's page, last time I went, it was amazing how quickly they stopped doing guns. Now, you know what? That's wrong. It's amazing how quickly they inserted so many more knife videos and flashlight videos and camping equipment and boating equipment and motorcycle equipment and all this stuff, because you couldn't monetize these gun videos, at least for a while. And it was like, how much money is Nothing Fancy making? Like, there must be paying. I mean, it's interesting. You know, I mean, I don't know.
I have no clue, obviously. I have absolutely no clue how much money he's making, you know.
But I thought it was like, you know, all these people are all pissed off that, like, or they're surprised, like Iraq veteran 8888. I stopped watching his videos because he's getting paid, and it's like, and I saw somebody say, yeah, I just stopped Hickok 45. It's getting to be too commercial, and it's like, you know, I mean, Hickok 45, every time he comes on video, hey, Bud's Gun Shop, Bud's Guns, Bud's Guns. I tell you about Bud's Guns. I'm a good friend, Bud's. I went to college with a guy named Bud. Speaking of Bud's. And it's just like, well, you know, I mean, these guys they're making money, you know. So okay, Iraq veteran 8888 and Forged from Freedom. Is it settled? Is it done?
Yeah, from what I get, it's settled. They've settled and they've parted ways. So I don't know. Like I said, Forged from Freedom just put out a press release because apparently, you know, the Iraqi vet 8888 was trash talking them, and they're kind of like defending themselves. So I don't know if this is over with. I mean, apparently they've settled monetarily, but, you know, I mean, are they going to have a pissing match now and fight each other. I don't know.
Well, this is interesting too, because I don't know if you've heard about this. Let me see if I can't find it. So, Ian McCollum from Forgotten Weapons, right? Check this out.
Yeah.
This just happened this week. He has started Larry Vickers has books, and he helped Larry Vickers do a book. And he's now got his own book called Chasse de FAMAS, because he's a Francophile. He loves French guns.
Yeah.
And he started a Kickstarter. His goal was to raise $25,000, okay, for this book, pre-order, whatever, a few special editions, signed, or whatever he's going to do. Take a guess how much money he's raised for this FAMAS, Chasse de FAMAS book as of, it's now May 5th.
Oh, shoot. I have no clue.
He's at $253,000 for his book in probably a week. That's
incredible.
That's pretty good. That's a lot of these channels, they're bigger than people realize, these social media properties,
Oh yeah.
And but you know what? I don't want to be one of those guys that, I don't know, that kicks them, or I don't want to be one of those guys that's like, oh yeah, look at that asshole in that, in that Porsche or that Lamborghini, what a dick face, It's like, oh, look at that asshole over there with all that success on social media. I detest that kind of thinking. So good for them.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting that a lot of people are shocked. Shocked, I say. What do you mean? What do you mean? Or what do you mean? Rack 88 making a couple hundred, gross at $200,000 a year.
Well, I mean, look, this is a business, and I mean, if you look at his if you look at his channel and look at all the videos and the quality he puts into it, I mean, you can't do that as a hobby.
No.
I mean, I guess you can, but I mean, realistically, I mean, this is a business.
It is. It's a big business. So, yeah. Hey, I had to, for the listener this morning, if I sound different, I had some technical issues over here, so I'm just now speaking into a raw microphone, so my audio is probably different, and just in case it sounds terrible, I'm not going to go on for too long, but I wanted to we always do something like, as far as, interesting, or like police blotter, or
yes,
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you've heard of Coachella, right?
Oh yeah.
So now I only heard of Coachella maybe a few years ago, and I wasn't really quite sure what it was. Like, I didn't know if it was like a ski thing, and I get Coachella and like these parties and on the wealthy party circuit. I get them all confused and all that. But so there's a story that comes out. There's a thing called Coachella, and there's another one called Stagecoach. I've never heard of Stagecoach.
I've never heard of Stagecoach. I've heard of Coachella.
And I'm mentioning those to mention this.
Okay.
There is a website called Herp-Alert.
No, stop it.
No, it's true. Listen to this. There was a surprise guest riding through Stagecoach this weekend. Herpes. According to the bigwigs at Herp-Alert, an online diagnosis and treatment website for the STD. How the hell do you diagnose herpes online? I don't want to know. There's been another spike in people looking to get treated for herpes in the area surrounding the festival grounds, but it's not quite as bad as the outbreak during Coachella. Herp-Alert.
Jesus.
So apparently I missed the initial Coachella Herp-Alert outbreak. Apparently I got to sign up for Herp-Alert. So
Jesus. Herp-Alert. That is amazing. I love that.
So here's the thing. Anybody that ever gave us shit for having a website called Tactical T-Shirts, fuck you guys. Somebody out there's got a website called Herp-Alert.
Herp-Alert. That's awesome.
And
I love it.
How does that work? Like you get like a notice on your phone. Like, are you like, what if you're in a carpool and you're going to work and all of a sudden your phone goes, text message from Herp-Alert. So,
I love it.
oh
That
my
is
God, listen to this. Hold on. Herp-Alert's been helping folks for over 2 years with doctors issuing prescriptions. You can get dope. You can get prescriptions over Herp-Alert to pharmacies.
Oh, come on.
It gets better. It gets better. Okay, you remember like there was a rash of people sending dick pics around?
Yeah.
And that was like a big thing. And like, oh my God, like, Jeff Bezos dick pics. Well, maybe. So people get prescriptions after they upload photos of their junk for doctors to review. The turnaround time is super quick, taking just 2 hours. So you take a picture.
So you got to send a dick pic to get herpes medicine
online.
Well, shit, I've been sending all these dick pics for free. Damn, I didn't know I could get drugs.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
This episode of John 1911 Podcast brought to you by Herp-Alert.
I mean, there has to be, wow, okay, I'm flabbergasted by that. I did not know you could send a picture of your junk to a doctor online and get herpes medicine.
And I sent a picture of your junk to a doctor online and not get visit from the sheriff's office.
Well, my question is, so who's going to start herpydick.com?
to go in competition with Herp-Alert? We're 50% cheaper.
Well, no, I'm thinking all these herpy dick pics that these doctors send, they're going to start their own, Pornhub type site, herpydick.com, where you can go in there and look at pictures of herpy dick.
And we're done. And this wraps up episode 132 of the John 1911 Podcast. If you want any pictures or links or stories or things we talked about, you can find them in the comment section for this podcast on our website, John1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, stay the hell off Herp-Alert.
See you later.